We're a couple of weeks removed from Devin Haney putting on an absolute snooze fest in his comeback fight against Jose Ramirez, which set the record for the lowest CompuBox punch output of the year and the fourth lowest in recorded history, contributing to one of the worst nights of boxing in recent memory.
You're getting these opportunities, man, these life-changing opportunities. You're getting these large paychecks, bro, but you're not showing up to fight. Show up and fight, man. Have some pride in your damn work and have some pride in yourself.
And as much as I want to agree with Tim Bradley, pride is one thing that Devin Haney has never had an issue with. Just last year, his ego took him all the way to the courtroom where he filed a lawsuit against Ryan Garcia alleging fraud, battery, and breach of contract over losing a fight where he was the 9-1 favorite. And while Garcia tested positive for the banned compound ostarine, his compromised mental health and obvious lack of preparation swayed many in the boxing community firmly to his side, ridiculing Haney's decision to sue.
I thought he couldn't have made situations worse for himself. Well done, you. Well done. You actually done it. You actually done yourself no favours. Like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, who's advised you?
Now that's an easy question to answer because there's only one man delusional enough to think that charging Devin's opponent with battery would somehow make him look good in the eyes of the fans. The same man that made the claim that Floyd Mayweather got spooked into retiring after sparring Devin, his father, Bill Haney.
He knew that the torch had to be passed and he passed it to Devin. I mean, because it was either forced or it is what it is right now.
And now that some time has passed since the Ramirez fight, Bill has finally gotten around to opening up his big book of cope in order to spin an early contender for the worst boxing match of the year into an undeniable success that's not even a little bit disappointing, dismissing those that disagree as mere simpletons that couldn't comprehend the art behind what they were watching.
We have to have elite level eyeballs looking at the performance.
Yeah.
If your eyeballs aren't elite, then you won't understand what you saw. Don't down him, crown him. Crown Devin as you got a chance to see another dimension, another layer. He has an arsenal, I like to say a warehouse full of tools. You know what I mean? And we brought out the package that stops them from doing anything.
The package included throwing less than 6 punches per round against a clearly overmatched opponent and moving around the ring like you were trying to avoid a bee that just got into your room. And while it did slow down Ramirez's output, most would assume that the guy that's supposed to be the 12-1 favorite and is clearly controlling the pace would also be the one to start opening up when it became clear that his opponent didn't pose much of a threat.
Why he ain't step to him, Bill? I'm like,
Okay,
I want to
well,
see him
once you
step.
see-
I
once
want
you-
to see the boy step.
Exactly. But then one thing about the critics, they said that that Devin wasn't experienced, that he didn't understand distance. I think that they said that we couldn't get away from the left hook.
Yeah.
We showed all those things. We showed that Devin can be disciplined. We showed that he also doesn't have to get hit with a left hook, a right hand, an uppercut, any of it.
He doesn't even have to fight, just stay out of your opponent's reach like you're playing a game of tag and you're the greatest boxer on the planet, according to Bill Haney. Never mind that the accusations of being a boring fighter that nobody wants to watch have plagued his son his whole career. And for somebody that claims to be all about the money, it's weird that Bill seems to be oblivious to the fact that so many fans would rather watch the undercard than Devin's main events, and that this fight against Ramirez was supposed to overturn that narrative and prove that he hasn't been psychologically damaged in his fight against Garcia to the point of being scared to engage because he didn't want to get hit.
He's gotten better. He's gotten better. And I'm saying is you're able to see more in his arsenal. I don't think that someone is going to say after that performance, it's going to be easy to go get Dev.
It won't be easy to get Devin another payday after that performance because not only did he lose a lot of his aura in the Ryan Garcia fight after being knocked down with the same left hook over and over again, leading many fans and analysts to put his previous identity of being an elite boxer that could rival Floyd Mayweather under a major question mark, especially now that Ryan Garcia himself has been beat by Rolly Romero's borderline amateur skill set. If there's no big name standing across from him, nobody is looking forward to seeing Devin Haney again at all after the Ramirez performance, which for some reason doesn't seem to bother Bill in the slightest. In his eyes, the complaints about Devin running around the ring are bogus because he didn't literally turn his back and start jogging.
Only someone with the boxing intellect is either trying to fool you or they don't have one at all to say that there's a place to run inside that square circle. See, they pissing on the people's head and telling them it's raining that you can run in there without turning your back because Devin never turned his back.
And apparently the punch output wasn't an issue either as Devin was simply sticking to the game plan.
And he threw enough punches to win every round. When you talk about being a fighter experienced and seasoned, sticking to the game plan. Sticking to the game plan that was outlined by your coach, right? I outlined a perfect plan.
So that was your game plan?
Oh, absolutely. and he stuck to it beautifully.
But here's the thing, Devin's head trainer for the Ramirez fight was actually Sugar Shane Mosley, and according to him, Devin didn't beautifully follow the game plan at all.
I think that he took on to his father's mentality of maybe protecting the bag for the next fight, and that's just not how I roll. But you know, to each his own. He won the fight, he got his victory, but sometimes a victory could be a loss if you do it the wrong way.
And that's a great way of putting it, because by winning his fight against Ramirez, Devin's stock diminished way more than if he didn't take the fight at all. In fact, he's probably kicking himself over it right now, knowing that Ryan Garcia ended up getting embarrassed in the main event, which would have validated Haney's narrative that he was a juiced up superhuman in their fight last year. If fans didn't see him put on a comparatively horrible performance 30 minutes prior in a fight where he was the undeniable winner. And I've really questioned the strategy of fighting in the most boring way possible in order to secure yourself a future payday when you're destroying your star power in the process, thereby guaranteeing yourself less money.
If you continue to make that the game plan, your son is going to incur a lot of hate because of that, when we know and we've seen him be more offensive. Like, we've seen that.
Well, the haters are losing and we're winning. You know what I mean? And if that continues to happen, then so be it.
I think Bill is completely misunderstanding what's happening here. Devin doesn't have haters, people just equate watching him fight to psychological torture. So this winning that he's speaking of is on the verge of turning into irrelevance. Because if nobody wants to watch him fight, other boxers don't have an incentive to fight him. Therefore, promoters don't have an incentive to pay him, so Bill and Devin won't be able to get to the proverbial bag. But again, either logic seems to be completely lost on him, or Bill is just the master of deflecting and spinning narratives. Because he has no problem doubling down on his absolutely ridiculous take of Devin's performance somehow being a net positive in an even more hyperbolic way.
You loved it. Why?
I loved it because we shut down the critics and to say that if we don't want to get hit with a hook, you're going to take it home with you. It's going to stay in the trunk. If we don't want to get hit with a right hand, we're not going to do. That's boxing. That's the way boxing is going. That's the old school. You handicap a fighter. When you saw Conor Benn and Chris Eubank, no respect, no disrespect to them, but you saw two fighters that started late in the game. So you're not going to see dimensions to their game. So if you get two fighters that kind of know how to fight, you're in for a good fight. When you get a fighter with dimensions and a warehouse full of, an arsenal full of tools like Devin, boy, now you're going to see the science of boxing. It's called the sweet science. It's not rock 'em, sock 'em up.
So the more skills a fighter has and the more he outclasses his opponent, the worse the fight ends up being. That's certainly a take. I don't think I have to explain why this is a ridiculous statement, but since Bill loves to talk about Floyd Mayweather, let's use his fight against Arturo Gatti to explain why Bill is wrong on every single level. Floyd clearly outclassed Gatti, and instead of running a track meet around him in the ring, he pulverized him over 6 rounds until Gatti's trainer, Buddy McGirt, felt like he needed to stop the fight in the corner. Because not only could he not see a path to victory, he couldn't picture Gatti finishing the match with his health fully intact. And had Devin Haney shown this dimension against Ramirez, the narrative would be a lot different than it currently is. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like the video if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell next to it. And if you want to support the channel further, become a member by hitting join if you're on Android or desktop, or the link in the description if you're on iOS.
I don't know if I'm your enemy or not. I don't claim to be your enemy. I don't care nothing about being nobody's enemy. You know who I am. You know what I'm saying? You know how I f with it. But if you was my enemy, then you would feel like that. Do you feel like I'm your enemy?
I'm just asking a question.
Asking,
This ain't, we ain't no pistol contest.